Hi everyone, welcome back to another podcast of Remote Tribe. I'm here joined by Ryan Mendonca, who is also an entrepreneur and digital nomad lawyer. We Remote Tribe is a community for digital nomads and for people who want to live a location independent lifestyle. We are a magazine, a community, and soon we're going to be launching a no-code academy as well for people who want to build digital products. We try to help people, get visas, travel around the world, and also work whilst doing that. And now I'm going to let Ryan introduce himself because he's also a digital nomad, a fellow, and he's been traveling quite a while and he's got a very interesting background. So, Ryan, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this session. I'm Ryan Mendonca, founder of YVLC, which is short for Your Virtual Legal Counsel. It's essentially where it's a one-stop shop solution for all of your legal needs, whether it's contract drafting, intellectual property setting up, whether it's Dubai, India, Delaware, or anywhere else. I'm happy to be here. I'm super excited because it's merging not only my business and entrepreneurial side, but also I'll be adding some flavor in terms of my legal experience and also setting up businesses for legal and digital nomads. So happy to be here and looking forward to this session.
Yeah, we've got a really interesting session today. We're going to talk about the digital nomad businesses. So, what type of businesses you can do whilst on the go. And this is the start of a series. We're going to talk about three businesses in every episode. And they are, we're picking these businesses so that we specifically target digital nomads, and there are businesses that can be done from anywhere in the world. And we're going to try and help you understand what kind of cost implications you're going to have with these types of businesses, how easy they are to set up, and Ryan can give you some really good insights on the legal aspect of that, what kind of things you need, how difficult it is to do some of the operational things, and so on and so forth. So for today, we've got three types of businesses. The first one is the classic t-shirt print on demand. The second one is, right, help me out, the itinerary setup. So selling up travel itineraries, which is getting quite popular right now because people want custom experiences and custom places that where people haven't been so far, and quite special things. And the third one is building up a course, which I've got plenty of experience now because we're launching a course with Remote Tribe. So that's also something very popular. People are trying to educate other people based on their experience, and it feels like the classic academy model is not working anymore. So people are looking for online resources. So I think that's why courses are so popular lately. So I think we should start with the first one, Ryan, with the print on demand t-shirt business. I'm going to open up the stage right
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
for presentation, and I'm going to let you start talking about it because I think you had a few clients in the past who set up this type of business, and I will add on some of the things. I'm gonna tell people how we're gonna look at the ranking here. So from a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the easiest bit of the business, and 5 being the most difficult or most expensive. So based on our experience, we try to score this type of businesses, and we're going to talk about each kind of property or quality of that business. So Ryan, go ahead and let's chat.
Sure. So happy to be exploring this. This is something that I've helped a bunch of clients. They've set up print on demand businesses for not only t-shirts, but also other knickknacks. But we're going to focus on the t-shirt business a niche. And that's something that is super important, right? When you're starting this, don't start it in the sense of any sort of t-shirt. Find a niche that you think is either something you're really passionate about, or at the same time is a very viral niche, right? So maybe it's
A
on
trendy
in
niche.
regards to, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's in, and probably something that's evergreen, like for example sports, or for example relationships, right? Like you can do couple t-shirts, so
I
that
think
way.
Pets is a really good one. It's getting really popular because a lot the pets
Yeah,
market is going to be huge. So I've seen a lot. I'm a big fan of pets. I love pets, and I've
that's
seen a lot
awesome.
of yeah. I've seen a lot of like really funny T-shirts with dachshunds and some other like tiny dogs, which are hilarious. I'm pretty sure they're successful.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that you can create thousands and thousands of designs using AI or even using designers that you can find off of Upwork and Fiverr and other freelance platforms. But
Yeah. So in terms of costs, so let's start with the first one. You said two. I said four. I think we've got different opinions here. So why do you put the
yeah,
two over there?
so I think too is it's super easy in terms of costs. You're just looking at the cost of the domain name if that's where you're going to sell it on your own website, right? You could also do it on other platforms directly, like on Amazon, on Etsy, and on other creative places where people are generally looking for t-shirts or looking for these types of products, right?
Hmm.
Second, in terms of fulfillment, it's not something that you need to have 100 t-shirts sitting in an inventory in a warehouse, and that's the point of print on demand, right? You find a fulfillment partner. Printify, for example, is a
Yeah.
print on demand founder partner that will help you basically print the t-shirts, ship it to that person, and it's essentially drop shipping for t-shirts, and it's super simple in terms of setting up. And lastly, in terms of the costs, I think it's only going to be the website, as I mentioned, figuring out how you're getting designs. So if you're getting designs by AI, then there's almost zero to no costs unless
Yeah.
you have to have a paid subscription for like a content generation platform or a graphic design generation platform. But otherwise, you can use Canva. There's multiple free tools, so you don't necessarily have to pay for your t-shirt design to be creative. And lastly, the only time you have to really put some money behind it is if and which is very recommended, paying for ads, right? So paying for
Yeah.
ads can be expensive, especially in this space. You should probably budget anywhere between $200 to $500 for at least a week in terms of Facebook, Instagram, and
That
probably
that's
other platforms ads.
yeah. That's why I've said it can be a bit more expensive. So indeed, I think the t-shirt creation bit is not that expensive, even though you still have to test a few t-shirts. So you do need some kind of startup money. I would say a few $100. Yeah, okay, that's not that much. But then for the ads, the space I think is quite competitive. So I think you have to be very creative with the TikTok campaigns and Instagram campaigns, but also I think you have to spend some money on the ads. So for me, that was the expensive part. Maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere because it seems like you do have to spend some money on the ads and some maybe the website itself, but also the starting cost is not that expensive. So I think it's somewhere in between because it's not really that straightforward. I compare this type of business with like a digital product, which is basically free. So like
Yeah.
recording videos or recording a course, that's almost free, I would say. So I would say it's not an expensive business, it's not a cheap business. It's somewhere maybe towards cheap business, but we still need, I would say, maybe I would say $1,000 just to consider starting a business, which is not that much really these days.
Yeah, that's right. You could do this easily for under $1,000, and it's something that is also let's get into the next one. Probably, the time and effort cost. So I've put this again at a two. You've put it at a four. Do you want to go ahead
Yeah,
first on this one?
I'll start on this one. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I put four because you do have to do a lot of testing, like with any other business. So some models might not be work, some printouts that you're gonna put on the t-shirt. Also, I think you're gonna test a lot of materials for the t-shirt, a lot of cotton types and all those things. And also you need time to start the business because again, like it's a competitive space. So for me, I think it will take some time till you find the right niche, the right product, and also get some traction on your brand. So that was my consideration.
cool, got it. So where I'm coming from is once you've done all of your initial, testing, whether it's from designs aspect, from t-shirt aspect, and also from cost and also your market where you're going to sell this on. What are the type of customers that are looking for these t-shirts? once you know all of that, then on an ongoing basis, it's fairly low amount of time and effort that you need to maintain this and continue things and allow this to grow, right? You don't have to constantly spend, like, let's say every day, X amount of hours, maybe, 8 to 10 hours a day doing this business, right?
Yeah,
It's
that I
something that
agree
you
with
can
that.
easily do as like a side hustle, something that, as I mentioned before, once you've done that first maybe couple of weeks, couple of months of testing, figuring things out, it's something that to a certain degree will can be automated, can go as smooth as possible without you having to, come into the business and having a lot of fires to put out like like a normal startup would have, right?
But from the legal perspective, Ryan, do you need to register the company immediately, or can you? I know there's some tax breaks also in the US and in the UK, for example, up to £12,000. Do you really have to register the company as soon as you start, or you can wait to have some traction and then register an LLC or an LTD company?
So I would recommend setting up an LLC regardless, and
Hmm.
having that from the get-go, because not only can you do just this business with that LLC, but if
Yeah,
you have other businesses or you want to start your freelance career, having everything bundled into one, at least for the first few months or years, is a good idea, because once you have that entity, then you're distancing yourself from liability, and that's where it can get tricky, because let's say gone and put up like a design that's copyright protected, and somebody figures out about it and sends you a notice, then now you have opened up yourself, you've exposed yourself to a legal situation
correct.
where, either they're suing you for the money that they're projecting of how much you've sold, and two is there can be product issues where, of course, it's not like the t-shirt's going to cause any sort of damage, but people may have issues if it's a bad quality product,
Yeah,
and they may want to come back to you and have returns and
they're
complaints
coming
and so
after
on and
you.
so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Ryan, how much would people expect to pay for forming an LLC? And also, I think you need to save up some money for the accountancy for hiring an accountant, right?
So I would say anywhere between $400 to $500 would be a sufficient amount for you to set up your entity, especially if it's going to be like a Delaware U.S.
Yeah.
entity. At the same time, if you needed an accountant, you can get that as well. But I think for the first few months, or at least for the year, you wouldn't need an accountant on a regular basis to, keep track of sales, because you can get a lot of tools that basically figure out how much
That's
you've
great.
sold, and apportion how much of your sales tax and so on and so forth. They can do all of that very, very easily. Ultimately,
That's
you
great.
may just need an accountant or a CPA to actually file your tax returns towards the end of the year.
Yeah, on a yearly basis. So you might have like a bigger one-off payment, bigger. It's really not expensive because they're not, if your business is small, they're not going to spend too many hours filing in the yearly return. So that's okay. And in terms of scalability, I think I agree with you, Ryan, here. I think once you get the market right, the designs right, I think it's very easy to scale because you can start selling on multiple platforms. Even Facebook has a shop. You can sell on Etsy. You can sell on Shopify. You can sell on Amazon. So there's so on eBay. There's so many platforms you can scale. You just have to upload the products and then basically just print on demand and deliver the products to the clients. And then ultimately you can build your own website, which I recommend. I recommend you first start with the existing platforms like Etsy because you don't know if your product is going to work. And then you can create your website as soon as the brand is getting some traction. But don't invest in an expensive website, in time in creating it. I would say just scale on the existing platforms. That's my advice. And then I think when it comes to revenue, I think we both agree that it's not a high profit margin business. It depends also obviously on your positioning. If you're positioning yourself as like super high quality and you can deliver that, obviously your margin will be higher. But this is a volume business, so you'll have to sell a lot to see some solid profits.
Yeah, like I've seen some t-shirt brands, they're absolutely plain t-shirts,
Yeah.
but they call themselves like, the the best t-shirt in the world, the most comfortable t-shirt in the world,
Yeah, exactly.
500-day t-shirts, and so on and so forth, right?
White,
So, th-
black,
so they,
classic.
yeah, they
Yeah,
make a brand out of it, but it's an absolute plain Jane, no design, no nothing, t-shirt. But it's probably because of the quality they've figured out and sourced, right? But
yeah,
ultimately, that's just something that you need to take and put in a bit of time and effort to figure out the right amount of mix in that material and go for it, right? So it can
absolutely.
even be plain Jane, black and white, multiple colors. So you just have red, black, blue, green, and so on and so forth. The whole colors of the rainbow, like you have in the background here.
I think that was a very successful business that was sold recently, and the guys were creating like plain t-shirts, white and black, but super high quality cotton, and like it was really big. I don't remember the name, but yeah, it's possible. Just look out on the market. I would say another advice is look on the market and see like the top sales, popular brands. Try and study a bit the brands and see how they do it, and then adapt that style to your to your brand or your t-shirt brand, and kind of personalize it. Put your own mark on it, like your own messaging, your own cultural fit, or however you want to call it, and then see how it goes and play with that. Have fun, really have fun with the process.
Yeah, and I've noticed there are multiple business models that you can have on this, right? Like, whilst it is still print on demand in the real context of it, if you were to do limited drops, right? Or if you were to partner with, for example, multiple influencers that can put their brand on it and do collabs, right? So you're not just only relying on your own ads and your own market and brand, but you're now collaborating with other brands, right? Like, for example, Supreme is it became so huge, right? Super Dries become so huge, right? Although they're not print on demand, right? They're super retail or have done limited drops. But in the same business, if you're able to bring on, a streetwear brand or a brand in the sense of, let's say, in motivational messaging, so on and so forth, as long as you're able to capture and connect with customers. End of the day, this is not a one-time sale. They'll keep coming for the most part, especially if you're able to connect and give them good T-shirts and good materials and good designs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another interesting idea, and I think we're gonna finish off with that, is don't ignore the pet market again. I think the pet clothing, and there's so many accessories for pets right now, including clothing. It's going really nuts. Like, I'm looking on Instagram and I'm seeing a lot of designs for dogs, which is pretty crazy. But people are, again, they're investing a lot in their pets. A lot of millennials and Gen Zs, they see their pets as kids. So obviously, that's a market as well, and it seems like, yeah, it's getting a lot of traction. So you might want to look into that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Good
Ryan,
advice.
do you have any thoughts on that? Like, would you be tempted to open a business like that, or it's just a bit too much for you?
No, I'm definitely tempted to try a business in print on demand. Probably because I'm not that fond of pets, don't have any pets. Probably also don't really see the niche there. It definitely could be there, right? But
Yeah,
I'm probably thinking of other things that, you know, maybe people would want in terms of the pets. Where they have their own pets photos or photos of
yeah,
themselves with the pets, right? So it'll become
exactly.
super customizable, right, to that
Yeah, that's a
degree,
good point.
right? And and,
That's a good
and
point.
that's something that can really leverage, right? But
Hmm.
ultimately, if I'm doing this business, I would do it on really creative and motivational messaging, maybe doing couples t-shirts, maybe doing t-shirts between, like, greatest dad, greatest mom, wa- work related. So, probably maybe even start a t-shirt brand in the legal space for, like, people to want to gift lawyers, like with funny gifs or with funny
Yeah,
memes on them,
yeah.
things of those. That I feel would be something that I would kind of go ahead with.
Great. I think we ping ponged a lot of good ideas, so we can move on to the
Yeah,
next one, which is also a
sure.
very interesting niche, is the travel niche, which I love. So Me and Ryan, we chatted a lot about this one, and I think creating and selling custom itineraries, even though you have AI now, I think it's a growing business as well. And basically, what this means is that there are a lot of private consultants that can do itineraries for you. So it's nothing new, but I think it's growing because people are looking for again experiences and custom itineraries and something that is bespoke to their needs and wants for that time in life. Maybe you want like a couple itinerary or you want like a solo travel itinerary. And there are a lot of consultants on platforms that can actually do something for you. They will do the research for you and present you a few itineraries that you choose, and then they will also do the bookings for you if you want that. It does make sense. I initially, when I've seen this business, I was like, who wants that? But it seems that a lot of like I would say maybe like boomers or even older millennials or Gen X maybe said that are too busy to do that, or they just want to hassle with the whole thing, and they just outsource this type of consulting or this type of task to a VA, which can charge a bit of money depending on their the rates, and they can deliver this custom itinerary. So, Ryan, what's your experience with? Have you ever tried this type of business product, or like how what do you know about the market?
Yeah, so this is something that me and my partner were actually discussing, setting up for, where I'm based out of in Goa, because we've
Hmm.
recently moved here. We've been exploring the places, whether it's coffee shops, co-working
Yeah,
places, restaurants, fun experiences like going kayaking, doing, skydiving and doing lots of stuff, right? That are available in this place. So we figured why not start out with creating custom itineraries, telling people where to go on which days, who's playing, what's the where are the flea markets, where are the interesting like dive bars and things of that nature, right? Helping out people kind of being able to live the local life or get an understanding of what it would be like if they're not just going on to Google checking out the 10 best places to go and then figuring it out based
sure.
off of
There's more
that,
than
right?
that. I mean, yeah, Google and
Absolutely.
TripAdvisor can't really have everything in them, and there are a lot of hidden gems that are not on Google reviews yet or TripAdvisor, and you might just know that.
Exactly, and
Uh,
with the digital nomad community, because people eventually get to travel to multiple places, then this is something that you can do for, all the places you've traveled. Like I've been to Singapore, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Nepal, and multiple places in
mhm.
Southeast Asia that I feel, at least confident enough because I've spent anywhere between 15 to 20,
Yeah.
sometimes even an entire month in that place to be
And
able
you've
to
got
pick up
time.
those
Yeah,
hot spots,
exactly. You had time to
and
discover some of the local gems that like a normal travel agency wouldn't do. Yeah,
exactly, and we, because we're part of multiple digital nomad communities like Remote Tribe, we've gotten,
yeah,
a plethora of resources and people just saying, hey, go here, check this out, and giving recommendations. And ultimately, we go for ourselves and see whether this is something like other people may like or who may like, or whether we liked it ourselves, right?
yeah. I remember the coffee shop where we met. It was really amazing.
I
That's
know,
definitely a place to go in Chiang Mai for sure.
definitely.
Can you see the screen now where I'm sharing the
Yeah.
travel agents here? So I just want to give a few examples to the people. So you can see here, like Brittany is charging $45 per hour, like top rated consultant. Andrea, which funnily enough, I met in the Philippines. And I promise you,
Awesome.
I didn't stage this one, but she's one of the top rated planners. I met her in a hostel in the Philippines, and she's charging about $20 an hour, $30 an hour. So, it depends on the market you work, but if you work with the US and Europe, you can definitely charge more, I would say. And, you've got even meal planners, so people who want to try um, Michelin
Healthy
star
living
experiences.
and
Yeah,
sustainable
exactly.
food.
Yeah, exactly. So there's definitely a market for that. And I'm just going to return to our presentation here.
Sure.
And let's chat about how to start a business like that, Ryan.
Yeah. So for me, where I'm coming from in terms of the cost of capital, besides writing it all down and probably creating multiple custom variations, like for example, honeymooners, for example, people who are coming for their bachelor or bachelorette parties, people who are coming and traveling for various purposes, right? Like if it's a
Yeah,
family, to do, four, five, six, seven, maybe iterations of that. And all of
different
this is free.
templates.
It's
Yeah,
just your own time, right? To see
exactly.
what different types of people would like, right? And have like multiple pick and choose experiences. Like maybe, oh, we can do a yacht party. We could do, like, for example, dinner on
Bachelor
a,
party,
yeah,
bachelorette. There's so many
yeah, dinner
options.
at an exclusive place, or multiple, like, very, maybe let's say a picnic date at, at sunset at a specific location, right? So you can create multiple fun and unique experiences that probably nobody else is really able to do. And then if somebody picks that, then those are like your premium, experiences that you've curated, or you've basically being able to arrange, right? And you can charge a super premium markup on that, right? Because
Yeah, so I think
that's
I think
something
we agreed
nobody
on
else
the
is doing.
Yeah, I think we agreed on the cost and capital here because it's basically your own time and you just have to be creative and do research on the internet. That's all. And when it comes to delivering, you can set up the templates in a tool like Canva. You don't even have to buy Canva Premium, it's free. And
Yeah,
then, just start working on the itineraries and experiences, look up the prices and just put up an offer. Sometimes you don't even have to buy the tickets for that person. You can just send the itinerary and job done. Or
yeah,
sometimes you can charge a premium as well and buy the hostel and book everything, the hotel, the flights for the couple or for that person.
yeah, of course, yeah. And
Time and
if
effort,
you have
obviously.
like,
Yes.
discounts on the booking, or you have Genius on other platforms
Yeah.
or whatever, you can book it, and you'll extend your own loyalty points and things to them, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I think again, like we also read on time and effort because that's the core of the business. So you will
Yeah,
have to spend a lot of time. It's not that type of business that you can scale because it's a one person business, one person army, unless you create a travel agency, which is a completely different story, right? But we
yeah.
do agree that the time needed for this is high, or expensive if you want to put it like that, because
Especially
you
finding customers, right?
yeah.
Because there are multiple ways of finding them. Of course, online from anywhere, but you want to start local, like, within your network, people that are traveling to these places. They've already seen your Instagram. They know, oh, you went to Turkey for like a week. I want to know all the hot spots there. I'm like, sure, no problem. I'll send you, I'll make you a custom itinerary and charge them a reasonable fee, right? You can start local with your friends and family and network, right? Because they already know you've been there. They have You've created that social proof, right? Of you being that person that knows where and what to do.
That would work great for influencers. And in fact, Ryan, I was studying a business yesterday that's all about influencers selling their tips, and it's called Thatch. So
Yeah.
THATCH, I believe,
Yeah.
.com. Yeah. And basically, you can sell your own itineraries as a travel influencer or nomad right on the
Absolutely.
website, and you get money for that. So I think it's a brilliant idea
Yeah.
because that's what people do. They're professional travelers. So why not
Exactly.
listen to a guy like that and don't just like spend hours in doing researches, but just use them. And I think maybe Gen Z will be a generation that's going to listen more to this type of travel influencers, so to say.
Exactly. And that's actually where I got the idea of creating it for different people, right? Like they have them for solo travelers, they have them for, like, people that are digital nomads, they have them
A
for
niche
like
within a
people who
niche.
want to
Yeah,
go, yeah, for coffee shops, for working, recommendations for like street food, and so on and so forth, right? Like
yeah.
the list can be
The
endless, right?
unlimited verticals, basically. Yeah,
Exactly.
perfect. When
So
it
that's why
comes
I
to
think
yeah.
the time to break even is very, very low, because you don't have too much of investment to begin with, right? So you can start making a profit even off of the first one, right?
hmm It's all about your
And
time. You might have to wait a bit until you get. I think that the waiting game here is getting the clients and the contacts. But then once you start delivering, you're gonna get paid almost instantly.
yeah, so I would try starting it in the reverse, right? Asking people and trying to figure out, like, even posting in a couple of either WhatsApp groups or on, digital nomad communities, saying that, hey, I'm starting this for this specific place, right? So once you've gotten that one lead for this place or these lists of places, let's say you've been to, 7 different countries in the past year, and you're well versed with these geographies, you can just list those down, and that becomes like an open menu for people to say, yeah, I want to go Bali for 10 days. It's me and my wife, and this is the detail. So you get that first customer, they give you all their information, whatever it is that they want to do, and you start off based off of that, right? Versus
Yeah.
creating it already and trying to sell something that you have that maybe somebody doesn't really want, and you haven't tested or figured out if it's sellable or not.
Yeah, I think another good idea would be if you're already like a travel buff and you have some kind of Instagram channel, try to advertise there and see if you can get
Oh yeah,
something. And
absolutely.
ultimately, create like a travel blog or just write on LinkedIn about travel. Maybe you want to position yourself like luxury consultant or something like that. So create the market as well, because there's a higher chance that you're going to sell to someone like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're already having a presence on any of these social
Yeah,
media platforms.
just
Yeah.
just just tap into your network and expand that, sure. Or create a new network. Like if you're not in the travel industry, but you like travel, maybe you want to create like a travel page on LinkedIn or yeah, like an Instagram brand. But just be patient. It takes time,
Yeah.
right? And in terms of revenue, Ryan, I'll let you talk on that.
Yeah. So in terms of revenue, it ultimately it is dependent on how many you do in a month, just with just like with any business.
Yeah,
But I don't feel that this is something that you'll get, hundreds and thousands and so on and so forth, huge numbers of people coming to you, right? Until and unless you've eventually built that brand, right?
yeah,
So you'll have to have your presence on multiple places, Fiverr, Upwork, maybe also on Thatch, maybe selling it in different contexts, right? You can go very, very wide in terms of this and very, very deep, right? But ultimately, you're just looking at small ticket items or
yeah,
sales, right? Until and unless you do these curated experiences, and also if you partner with organizations that do that, right? For example, if you get referral codes or referral fees for recommending or having people book a certain experience from a certain place, right? So then those are then outreaches that you've done. You've again spent time and efforts in terms of finding the right experiences, but ultimately those are like high ticket items that you can sell, and you can most likely sell those and make a lot of money just by doing that, right?
yeah. For me, the main problem here, which is related to the revenue, is the scalability. Because as a consultant, you only have about 8 to 10 hours where you can work per day max, I would say, without burning out. And obviously, I mean, how many travel itineraries can you deliver for like $10 or $15? So it's quite limited. Like if you do one per day, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think you're gonna get rich from this industry unless you build yourself like a travel agency and start hiring people, basically. And yeah, but for a side hustle, I think it's great. I think it's great for networking and for understanding the market. So you can definitely probably make over like $1,000 from a side hustle like this. But again, you have to be patient to build that network.
Yeah, and I just think for digital nomads, it's a very you know, but obvious choice
Fits,
for them
yeah,
to
good,
do.
great
Yeah,
fits. Yeah.
it's like whilst you're traveling, you could be doing it. You're doing your research. You could, all the cafes, restaurants, experiences that you'd pay for, put it into the business, get it, expense it
And
at
to
the
be honest,
same
that's what
time,
I do
right?
as well. Yeah, I do write about places I go and recommend the best coffee shops because for me it's also a passion, but it's also very good for traction for people looking for secret spots in, I don't know, Thailand or Philippines and stuff like that.
Exactly. And
Great.
ultimately, as I mentioned, you can use your loyalty points, your frequent flyer miles, and wherever you have referral fees that you can get discounts for your customers and clients and upsell that.
Yeah. Great. Moving on, the last one, which I think is my favorite now, because again, like we're launching a course for digital nomads, and I
Excellent.
can talk forever about this because I've just finished recording, so we're good. Ryan, so I want to hear your opinion first. Let's
Sure.
let's talk a bit about the course industry and what do you know so far and what do you think about it?
So in general, I feel the course industry is very, very scalable, especially if you're going for like a high in demand skill, right? Like let's say it's with regards to like what you've picked out for no code tools, right? How to use them, because earlier software developers or people in tech in general used to be a very high income job, right?
Yeah,
Or profession, as you would call it. But right now it's become so democratic where even somebody that didn't go to university and study all of this, didn't go to a computer science major or any of that, they can now start coding, they can now
correct.
start creating apps,
It
websites, tools, and things of that nature that ultimately either they can use for themselves, right, and make a
y-
business out of it, make their
yeah,
MVP for their startup, don't need to pay you know thousands and
50
thousands of
grand.
dollars,
Yeah,
yeah, to a team of developers. But of course, eventually, maybe if they're doing a startup that needs a lot of development and needs very unique development that needs to be hard coded, of course they may need a development team, right?
sure, but at
Is,
least you
is
can
what I would
start.
assume.
Yeah, at least you can start the
The
MVP of the
MVP
business
beta
extremely
version,
low
yeah,
cost. Yeah, extremely low cost.
exactly.
So, I mean, let's talk about courses in general. I believe that the starting cost is low. I don't know why you've put four there. For me, it's definitely a two. So you've got tools like Kajabi, Circles. You should pay about $50 a month to host a course in the community, and then for recording purposes and editing, it's almost free. I would say it's free. You can record with your phone or like a really cheap camera, and then editing is free as well in like other tools online. So I think for me, the starting cost is low. Again, the investment will be your time, which yes, it does take a lot of time to edit, to video edit, prepare, and deliver as well. So why my question for you, Ryan, is why do you put four there? I'm really curious.
Yeah, so for me, besides of course, all the time and effort that goes in it, right? The actual cost from my side was you need to do a lot of investment in terms of selling this product because ultimately you're most likely going to be selling it on a new platform, a new website that nobody's heard of, right?
Yeah,
Unless you're going to like other
Udemy,
courses and
Skillshare,
selling it on these
yes,
platforms, right?
yeah.
So unless of course you're doing it that way, which is of course one way and a great way to launch, right? When you're creating it on your own website, you need to be able to drive traction for that, right? And second, it needs to be something that either you yourself are super knowledgeable about, right? Because you can't make a course about something that you're not, to a certain degree at least, an expert on, right?
Literate, yeah.
Exactly. So either you're doing it that way or you're hiring an expert to say, hey, create me, 30 videos that, these are the sequences, this is what I want you to teach. And ultimately, right, you can do it two ways. One is being doing one-to-many live group sessions, right? And
Yeah.
eventually those recorded
M-
sessions become part of the
mentorships.
course material, right? And you can also do one-to-one consultation sessions for like deep dives on a specific thing, right? But ultimately, if you're doing it that way, then there's a lot of time and cost in terms of setting it up, having these sessions recorded and going on, and um, also video editing. If you don't do it for yourself, right, then there's a cost to getting all of that done as well. So
Yeah.
I would say
I
there's a
mean,
lot of costs if you're not able to do everything that you need to do to launch it by yourself because all of these things are high in demand and high paying skills.
yeah, I would say obviously the obvious answer is try to build one of the skills, be really good at it in time, and then sell it and record it yourself. I think that's the whole secret. If you want a high margin on this one, make sure that you're the one doing the course, and then you can scale with other experts. You can join forces with other experts. But from my point of view, unless you create a platform where people come and teach other people, it does make sense to start a course, like a course content business, because it's going to cost you too much. So try to do it yourself, or just create a platform for other creators to come and you can just take a share of that.
Sure, got it.
Yeah.
This is
For
something
time
that
and
I wanted
yeah.
to actually, whilst we're on the topic, this is actually something that I did want to start for YBLC. I wanted to start an academy of sorts for, other lawyers who wanted to take their legal practice remote,
Hmm.
become digital nomad lawyers like myself. So basically, teach them, have them go through the tricks of the trade. So not really teaching them how to be a lawyer, but how
Yeah.
to be a lawyer that travels, that gets clients that are
How to
remote, that are
organize work, time,
yeah,
exactly,
that are
outreach.
fine with not, needing like books and a big office and a secretary and so on and so forth. Like, how do you tap into those clientele, right? Like a lot of my lawyer friends from the community are like, how is everybody so okay with, you being on a beach and like working, or you being
Yeah,
on a
man, your
plane
industry
and
is
doing
very,
whatever
very
it is.
special. Yeah, it's
So
exactly.
yeah, that's one thing. So maybe at the end of the this session, you can give me a few tips on how to take this from 0 to 60.
Will do. Will
Awesome.
do, yeah. Yeah, so for the time and effort, I think it's pretty obvious that if it's you recording the courses and editing, there's a lot of time spent. I can tell you from my experience that there's a lot of doubles you'll take, triples. You're going to have some tech issues as well. And then you have to edit the all the issues you had during recording, and then doing some putting some nice music on the background. So there's a lot of editing work, recording work, and also then obviously selling. Talking about selling, Ryan, I'm going to digress here a bit, and I want to tell that there are different ways to sell a course, easier or harder. The easiest way is to just upload your course on Udemy or Skillshare. We're going to leave the links in the description in the YouTube. But again, like, starting is really not that hard, I would say, and also selling it. If you're lucky enough and if you have good description, you're gonna make some money on Udemy or Skillshare. Otherwise, the other option is to build your own brand online, like we did before. But we're going to talk about that later. What I want to say that, yeah, it does take a lot of time and effort to create, edit, and sell.
Got it. And so and that's where the expensive bit comes in if
Yeah.
you're not doing it all yourself.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So the time to break even, I think we disagree here, and I like that because from my perspective, if you're not selling on Udemy or Skillshare, it will take time for you to sell, to have the first sales, which is very interesting because you have to build that brand, or you have to find the right channels to sell it, and you don't know if it's going to work, so it's not guaranteed. So I would say it's going to take some time for you to break even in terms of time for money, because it's your time. So obviously it didn't cost you much. So if you want to watch it from that perspective, yes, you can break even fast. But if you watch it from the time perspective that you invested a lot of time and effort into that, it's going to take some time until you have a few solid sales to break even that course. So Ryan, what do you have in mind when you said that it takes a lot of time to
Yeah,
break
yeah.
even?
So the way I envision these courses happening or launching, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but is, as I mentioned earlier, having people join in for these sessions, right? In the initial, so maybe it's similar to like a cohort, or you have like a bunch of students that are in your first session. So they need to pay up front, and they don't know what it is that they're paying for unless you've made like a few, tutorial sample kind of videos. But so once that happens, you've gotten your first 5, 10, 20 students in your class, and you've sold them on, let's say, 10 sessions or 10 modules, whatever it is, right? Ultimately, it takes time for those 10 sessions to happen. Once those have happened, you've, of course, not only put in a lot of time and effort, but ultimately, the fee that you're charging can't be exorbitant. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how much I would be able to charge for like digital nomad lawyer ready course, right? Like, even if it were, for example, to be broken down into, let's say, 10 sessions, for example, right? We talk about various different things about setting up your digital nomad lawyer or remote lawyer business, right? Um, I don't think it can be more than like $200 to $300 per person, and ultimately, unless I get anywhere between like 10 to 20, only then would it like really make sense. And the first cohort be like successful in terms of the, you know,
Yeah, I see.
break
So,
even.
I think for you, it's mostly the first sales that are very hard to do, and I kind of agree. Unless you have a platform where, like we have, like thousands of followers, and we've got a few hundred of pre-sales, which is fantastic already. So you can also pre-sell the course, by the way. So you can record like one or two chapters. So like one chapter, do like a preview and see if you have any traction, if you can do any pre-sales, and then if you do, keep recording and then sell the full package. And I think it's very easy to scale, Ryan. I think this is something we both agree strongly.
Yeah,
Obviously, if you have the course on a platform, people will just join and do the course in their own pace, or they can have like a drip drop session, or however they're called, where they get dropped a course every day, and they can do that, and then you can work with different cohorts. So there are plenty of ways to scale. Like also, if you push a lot of advertising on the course, and bring people in, they will just join and create the course, and then you just have to join the course and do the course, follow the course, and then you can just you have to offer support, right? But that's minimal. So yeah, it's very scalable, I would say, once it's recorded. And then also you can scale by recording more. So for every hour you record, then you can create more value because you can have more people joining. So let's say you open up a new vertical in your course, like AI, or like cooking, or like cooking cakes or anything like that, and then that vertical can scale again because you can sell it to a new market and bring new people by advertising to that market.
exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Estimated monthly revenue, pretty good depending on what kind of. I think this is related to the way you can scale. Obviously, I know people selling courses for thousands of dollars. I think that's exaggerated. In my opinion, I don't think it's fair. I mean, you can't really charge the amount unless it's something like really, really like money driven, like real estate or stock market. And with the stock market, it's a completely different story. But you can't really charge thousands for a course, I would say, because that's the price of going to uni, more or less, at least in Europe. So I don't think it's fair. But you can make the revenue from the volume. Again,
True.
advertising online is very cheap. So bringing more and more and more people to your course, which is already running,
Yeah.
can allow you to scale a lot. So you can attack different markets, and you can advertise on different channels, which is going to bring you more volume. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think it's your revenue will really be based on your selling model and your pricing model, because you can either go
Yeah.
super low, super cheap, that you get so many customers, and students signing up, right, that the volumes just take care of it. Or you can go on the other side of the spectrum, go super premium, and it's really the ones that have the money, that really want to learn about the skills, that know enough and more already, but are willing to pay, three, four, $500 for this course.
You,
Um, and then it becomes because uh, the main
you're
thing
right,
is it
Ryan.
needs
You're
to be a
right. You're
high
right.
in demand
I agree.
skill, you
I
know?
agree, and it's also about the business model, because for example, I looked at some people who are selling different like web development courses and design courses online, and they do have some interesting packages. Like their course is not cheap; it's about $2,000, but then you have access for life,
Yeah,
and they update that every month. They put new materials. And basically also have access to the community for life. So it's a $2,000 investment for life, where you meet like the same type of people and you get help for your business or whatever you're doing, like career. So I think actually spending 2,000 for life, if you love the community and you feel like you get help, it's not that much. So you can, but again, like you have to offer value, right? So you can't really charge
exactly.
thousands for not offering that much value. So that's a fine balance there.
Yeah, I think access to membership of a community of like-minded people that have already done the course. It's like paying for getting
Alumni.
to
Yeah.
alumni.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, watch the business model. I think we're gonna be in the low end because we want to. Initially, we're gonna be in the low end because I want to democratize even more the no code industry, and I really
Right.
want to help people get into it. So, and I think it's a fair price. And it's and then we'll see how the community goes and how people feel about that. But initially, we want to make the course accessible because it's all about empowering people, and I really care about people building their own products, and
Yeah,
that's what I'm passionate about as well. So I want to make it available to a lot of people from India to the States. So that's why
yeah.
and then we'll see, if the community gets bigger and we have really high demand, then we can build some extra value around that and
Yeah, you
increase
can
the
have
price.
advanced, expert, and higher level
Yeah,
courses that so that people can keep coming back, right?
yeah,
Especially the
yeah.
ones I feel the ones that you've sold to first, and have enjoyed your product, have gone out and built their own tools and their own MVPs, and they've really liked it. It's either got funded or it's either made a bunch of money for their SaaS platform, whatever the case may be.
That's awesome.
And then they come back and say, okay, I want to do something bigger, more complicated, or I think it's
Exactly.
it's really scalable, and eventually you can make a lot of money on this. And I hope you do, and I'm rooting for you. So
Thanks.
all the best on that.
Thanks. Cheers, mate. Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, and it is, it is very satisfying to see people, hopefully seeing people that will do amazing MVPs after graduating our No Code Academy. So looking forward, absolutely. Ryan, thanks a lot. It was great to chat. Anything you
Yeah.
want to mention? Anything you want to mention in the end on, in general about the digital nomad businesses?
So I would just say that it's really important to have somebody that understands the law, understands your business model, and also the way in which you operate, right? Like no traditional lawyer is going to be able to wrap their
Plus the
head around
lifestyle.
some of these
Yeah.
businesses, right? And also plus your lifestyle, as you mentioned, right? Like in one place one month, you're in another place another month, but at the same
Different
time they
residencies. Yeah.
yeah, different time zones and so on and so forth, right? So somebody that's going to be flexible, be there, that's got your back, is the kind of lawyer that you want to engage for. And I would say ultimately all of these businesses do have a legal tangent to it. They all have their website policies, terms and conditions, so on and so forth. They all have intellectual property that you may need to register and get set up wherever it is based out of. And at the ultimate space, you would also need an entity for the most part, in some jurisdiction, right? And that's something that we can definitely help you guys out. And so yeah, feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to probably even do a session for your Nomad no code community, and do a little bit of a legal
The
101
legal
for them.
bits. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's always good to know a lawyer, right? So,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah. So, thanks a
Cool.
lot, guys. We're going to leave a lot of links below. We also have a special offer for the No Code Academy course. I'm going to leave a discount inside the description. We're going to leave all the links from the tools we've mentioned. And hopefully, this was useful. And we'll see you in the next episode. We're going to treat some other types of businesses, and we're gonna understand, how you can go travel.
Yeah, some new
Thanks a lot, everyone.
borderless businesses. Take care. See
Exactly.
you.
See ya.
Bye.